My wife cheated, so I made sure she'd lose everything. We'll call her Emily. We've been married 7 years, together for 10. No kids, though not for lack of trying. She said she wasn't ready yet, so I respected her wishes. I've always been the type to work quietly, make sure bills are paid, and keep our home comfortable. Emily worked in marketing and loved networking events. I thought nothing of them. After all, I trusted her. The first crack appeared last December. I noticed she started guarding her phone like it was a newborn baby. She'd go into the bathroom to text, suddenly started wearing perfume for quick grocery runs, and started saying she was too tired for anything intimate. That's when I got suspicious. Now, I'm not proud of it, but I installed a small GPS tracker in her car, the kind you can buy online for under $100. I synced it to my phone. First night I checked it. She told me she was working late. Tracker pinged from a hotel 2 towns over. I drove there, parked in the shadows, and waited. 2 hours later, I saw her come out laughing with Jason, a guy from her office who I'd met at their Christmas party. Tall, fake smile, handshake, just a little too firm. The kind of guy who probably says bro a lot. They kissed. Full-on kiss. I didn't confront her. I just drove home. Because in that moment I realized something. She thought she was smarter than me. And that gave me the advantage. For the next month I played the part of the clueless, loving husband. But behind the scenes I was busy. I started quietly moving my paycheck into a separate bank account she didn't know about. Every joint asset we had, I began documenting, photographing, making copies of every receipt and statement. I had our home's title checked to ensure my name was clear and legally protected. I also paid a private investigator, not just to get proof of the affair, but to dig into Jason's life too. Let's just say, the guy has a lot to lose if certain details about his business trips get out. Then came my favorite part, the pretend ignorance phase. I told Emily we should plan a big anniversary trip. She lit up. Somewhere tropical, she said. We agreed on Hawaii. I even put down a deposit. Her guard was so far down, she actually told me she'd need a girls' night the weekend before we left. My tracker told me she went right back to that hotel with Jason. 2 nights later, I casually brought up the fact that my cousin's husband is a divorce attorney. Watched her face go pale. She asked why I'd mentioned that out of nowhere. I smiled and said, "Oh, no reason. Just thought it was interesting." That was the moment I knew she suspected something. But it was already far too late for her, because what she didn't know was that Hawaii wasn't just a vacation. It was going to be my stage. I had a plan that would not only expose her to her family, friends, and co-workers, but also leave her with nothing. Every lie she's told me for the last year, she's going to have to explain them, in front of everyone she cares about. And I'm not stopping there. After I confirmed the affair with my own eyes, I spent weeks pulling strings in the background. Money, documentation, legal prep, all locked in place. The trip to Hawaii was my magician's flourish, the distraction while I set up the real trick. Here's how I made sure she'd never see it coming. Our house was bought after we were married, but with my inheritance money, which I kept well documented as separate property. I had my attorney friend review every shred of paperwork to make sure Emily couldn't touch it in a divorce. Every valuable item that was fully mine, tools, collectibles, electronics, quietly went to a storage unit under my name. I then hired a private investigator who didn't just get photos of her and Jason kissing, he got videos, timestamps, and even audio recordings. I had a whole folder of Emily at the Marriott moments, her laughing in bed, her calling me to say she was working late while Jason's reflection was in the mirror behind her. But I didn't stop there. The PI found out Jason's been married for 3 years, to a woman who happens to be a lawyer. The man is toast when she sees this file. 2 weeks before our Hawaii trip, I told Emily I wanted to make it special. I booked a luxury suite with a private balcony and invited a few friends to surprise her on the first night for a champagne toast. She loved the idea. I acted like it was going to be romantic and thoughtful. What she didn't know? The few friends were her parents, her 2 closest friends, her boss, Jason's wife, and a couple of her co-workers. And yes, I made sure they all thought it was going to be a celebration. I bought Emily a dress for the night. A bright red one, expensive enough to make her feel like the center of attention. She twirled in it at home and kissed me on the cheek. I smiled back. I was polite. I was calm. Because I knew what was about to happen would burn itself into her memory forever. When we landed in Hawaii, everything seemed normal. I played the doting husband. We lounged by the pool, drank cocktails, posted smiling selfies. She probably thought her little secret was safe. On the night of the toast I had planned, I told Emily to meet me on the balcony at 7 sharp. She walked out, all dressed up, and there they were, her surprise guests. She lit up when she saw her friends and parents, until she saw Jason's wife. Then her smile froze. Everyone had a glass of champagne. I gave the toast. To love, honesty, and partnership. Then I clicked the remote in my pocket. The flat-screen TV in the suite lit up with a slideshow of photos and videos. Emily and Jason in bed, at the hotel bar, kissing in the parking lot, Her on the phone telling me she loved me, while Jason was literally in frame behind her. The room went silent. Her dad's face went red. Her mom started crying. Her friends just stared at her. Jason's wife didn't cry. She smiled. Emily stammered, tried to say it was fake. I pulled out the PI's full printed report, tossed it onto the table, and said, "Then maybe you should take it up with the investigator and your HR department." Her boss, who was standing there the whole time, picked up the report and said, "We'll be talking when we get back." Jason's wife left without a word, but not before slipping me her card. Emily chased me into the bedroom, whisper yelling, "Why would you do this here?" I looked her dead in the eye and said, "Because you built your little fantasy on lies. I thought it deserved a beautiful backdrop before it burned to the ground." I left her standing there. That night, I didn't sleep in the suite. I checked into a separate hotel across the island and turned my phone off. The fallout started the next morning. My phone exploded with messages. Her friends saying they never knew. Her mom begging me to come home and talk it through. Jason's wife thanking me for the proof. My lawyer friend texted, "When you're ready, I've got the paperwork prepped." But here's the thing. That wasn't even the endgame. That was just the opening act. Because Emily doesn't know that while she's still in Hawaii thinking I'll cool off, I'm emptying the joint account, canceling her credit cards, and having movers clear out my house before she gets back. By the time she returns, she won't have a home, a husband, or a reputation to hide behind. And the best part? The real revenge is still coming. When I left Emily in that hotel suite in Hawaii, I didn't just leave her embarrassed. I left her completely off balance, unsure of what I'd do next, thinking she could still somehow smooth it over. That was her fatal mistake. She assumed she still had some control. She didn't. The day after I gave the toast, she called me 6 times before noon. Voicemails alternating between sobbing apologies and furious accusations about how I blindsided her. I ignored everyone. By then, I was sitting on my hotel balcony, coffee in hand, laptop open, finalizing every detail of her dismantling. The first move I made was transferring 90% of the balance of our joint bank account into my separate account, leaving just enough so the bank wouldn't flag it immediately. Then I called the credit card company and had every shared card canceled. She wouldn't notice until she tried to use them. Then I had my buddy from college, the divorce attorney, get all the paperwork ready. Grounds, infidelity, backed by ironclad evidence. I authorized him to file that morning. Hawaii or not, the clock had started ticking. I changed my flight to 2 days earlier than hers, told no one. By the time I landed back home, the movers I'd hired were already halfway done clearing out the house. Every single thing that was mine, legally and provably mine, went straight into my storage unit. I'd even arranged for the locks to be changed. I left behind only the things that were technically hers. Clothes, a few personal items, and furniture I didn't care about. It looked like a hollow version of our home. Remember her boss from the balcony, the one who saw the slideshow? I emailed him and HR directly when I got home. Attached the PI's full report, along with timestamps of her work trips that overlapped with hotel stays. CC'd Jason's wife, the lawyer, on every email. That same day, Jason's wife filed a formal complaint against both Emily and Jason. 2 nights after I got home, I uploaded a private album to a locked folder and sent the link to a very selective group. Her closest friends, her parents, and, this was just for flair, the entire bridal party from our wedding. I didn't add captions, just dates, times, and photos of her with Jason. By the next morning, I heard from a mutual friend that she was being iced out of her own social circle. Emily got home from Hawaii 3 days later to find her key didn't work. She called me from the front porch, screaming that, "This is still my house." I told her calmly, "Not according to the paperwork. Check your email." In her inbox was the divorce filing, the financial breakdown, and a formal notice that she was no longer on the deed. Her voice cracked. She went from rage to begging in under 30 seconds. "We can fix this. I'll cut him off. No," I said. "You had a year to be honest. You didn't. Now I'm done." Then I hung up. 2 weeks later, she was officially fired. HR cited gross misconduct and violation of company policy. Jason was let go the same day. A mutual friend told me Emily had been trying to start fresh by applying elsewhere, but her reputation in the local industry was already radioactive. Word travels fast when your affair ends in a balcony slideshow. Her credit score tanked almost instantly after I froze her cards and shut down our joint accounts. With no job and no savings, she'd been spending freely thinking my paycheck was hers. She had to move back in with her parents. 3 months into the divorce proceedings, my attorney and Jason's wife's attorney coordinated. See, Jason's wife had filed for divorce too, and she had my evidence. She wanted him gutted financially, and she got it. Between our 2 cases, the court records became a permanent public monument to their stupidity. Emily tried to fight for spousal support. My attorney laughed. The judge looked at the PI's report, the bank statements, the timeline, and denied her request entirely. She walked away with nothing but debt. It's now been 6 months since it all went down. I've moved into a new place, paid off my storage unit, and bought myself a truck I'd always wanted. Emily still tries, every few weeks, to text me something nostalgic. An old photo, a remember when message. I don't respond. The last time I saw her in person was at a grocery store. She looked smaller somehow, tired, like the world had taken everything from her. She didn't try to approach me. She just watched me walk past with my cart. And in that moment, I realized I didn't even feel angry anymore. She got exactly what she built for herself. I didn't have to yell. I didn't have to hit. I didn't have to sink to her level. I just had to be patient and thorough. And I was.